was the supervisor, the monitor, the big daddy of the general insurance procedure altogether. Now, ACO is the recent insurance company that has come through a pure mobile app altogether. This is the supreme body in India which controls every single activity with regards to insurance. Good morning and welcome to the second session of Principles and Practice of General Insurance in the fourth semester BCom, where we are going to talk about the history and development of general insurance. Go forward and try to understand the entire historical evidence of how general insurance started up. The entire general insurance business, that is the GIC, India's largest general insurance company, which is one of the biggest in Asia also, and this is said to be a highly regarded and respected company. The entire general insurance business in India was nationalized by the GIC, that is by the Act of the 1972. It's called as the GIBNA, the General Insurance Business Nationalization Act altogether. It was done in the year 1972. Very, very important for us. Followed by the government of India through nationalization took over the shares of 55 Indian insurance companies, undertakings of 52 insurers carrying on the general insurance business. Now, let me tell you, before we start getting into this, the concept of nationalization was on a very, very high spree, on a rapid spree, let me say that word. Why? Because government wanted to give security to the employees very, very clearly. Most of the people at that point of time wanted the companies to be secured under the government. So insurance was no exception at all. The nationalization wave also spread across to the insurance sector, where the general insurance company was completely taken up by the government of India in 1972. And the government also took over about 55 odd companies in the insurance sector, saying that they are going to be a government of India undertaking. Now, everything in India, when we talk about the nationalization, when we talk about the history in terms of getting it under the control, is something really wonderful. Why? Because government of India actually wanted to create a very, very secured environment for all its employees, and they wanted to keep the control intact. Why? Because 1991 onwards, when the concept of LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization came, we broke open free. Now, that's a different story altogether. But then at this situation, the GIC was formed under the Section 9, Subsection 1 of the GIBNA Act. So that's how the general insurance company came into the existence altogether. Now, the general insurance company is the largest company. This is supposed to be one company which has got different forms and formats of general insurance, and lot of businesses have undergone through them, and they have been able to provide services for almost now more than 4 decades altogether. Now, let's going on further. Now, it was incorporated on the 22nd November 1972 under the Companies Act of 1956 as a private company limited by shares. Very, very important. It was incorporated on 22nd November 1972 under the Companies Act, and it was incorporated as a private company with a limited share factor. So that's how the company has been registered altogether. GIC was formed for the purpose of superintending, controlling and carrying out the business of general insurance. So it was the supervisor, the monitor, the big daddy of the general insurance procedure altogether. It was the godfather. Let me put on that word here. Why? Because GIC was the super boss. There was nobody else who could be compared to the size and nature of its operations that it was controlling, and it was the insurance company which was completely into the general insurance business. As soon as GIC was formed, the government of India transferred all its shares it held in GOC to the companies of the GIC. So, moment the company was formed, the government of India took the initiative of transferring the shares back into the GIC's companies. Simultaneously, the nationalized undertakings were transformed into the Indian insurance company. So they were all transferred and they were bought into a formalized sector altogether. So that's why in the history we try to understand that GIC has not been an ordinary company like any other companies. GIC has been a company which has got a very, very significant past, which has been trying to come up and tell people how the insurance sector has gone up and how the insurance sector has really, blended itself in terms of making it as really a very good form of business. Now, after the process of mergers among the Indian insurance company, 4 companies were left as the fully owned subsidiary companies of GIC, starting with the National Insurance Company Limited, the New India Assurance Company, the Oriental Insurance Company, the United India Insurance Company. Now you would be able to see that GIC has got 4 companies under it, starting with the National Insurance Company, the New India Assurance, the Oriental Insurance, and the United India Assurance Company. So these were all the branches of the GIC. The next landmark thing that happened was on 19th April 2000, because the IRDA Act 1999 was formed. This is very, very important today. The IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. This is the supreme body in India which controls every single activity with regards to insurance. So without the prior approval and information from the IRDA, you will not be allowed to conduct any insurance activities in India. So that's why I would always say that IRDA remains the super boss in terms of controlling the activities of insurance. And that was formed by the IRDA Act of the year 1999, which came into force in the year 2000. So it's very, very important for us to know this particular act. Followed by, this act was also introduced by an amendment to the act that was of the Jibna Act of 1938, an amendment where it removed the GIBNA and the exclusive privilege of GIC and its subsidiaries carrying on general insurance activities. So the GIC factor also now came into the control and purview of IRDA. So IRDA took the complete responsibility of all insurance activities that are happening in the Indian subcontinent, and they said that no more exclusive right or privilege shall be given to the other companies. It's the IRDA that will decide whether you are GIC, whether you are ICICI, whether you are Max New York Life, or whether you are HDFC, or you belong to Royal Sundaram, or you belong to any other private companies altogether. You will be controlled by the activities by the IRDA itself. In November 2000, the GIC was re-notified as the Indian reinsurer through the administrative instruction. Its supervisory role of the 4 supervisories or the subsidiaries started ending. So that was the time when you have to understand that GIC was again reinstated as the India's reinsurer, and all the 4 companies that were under the supervision of GIC was removed. So they now started functioning as separate entities altogether. And GIC was just given the status of being a reinsurer in India. So that was the change that was brought by IRDA after coming into force. So these things you need to remember. Why? Because both from the exam standpoint as well as from a learning standpoint, you need to know how does the general insurance function has existed all over the years. Now, moving further, with the General Insurance Business Amendment Act of 2002. Now, what happens is that there was an amendment. When I use the word amendment, that means some more changes that have been brought to that previous act, coming into force on March 21st, 2003, GIC, General Insurance Company, ceased to be a holding company of its subsidiaries. So from 2003 onwards, General Insurance Company ceased to hold, it stopped holding its subsidiaries. It said enough. So no more GIC was given the permission there. The ownership of those four erstwhile subsidiary companies and also GIC was vested with the government of India. So that four companies, the United Insurance, New India Assurance, the Indian Assurance Company, all those kind of subsidiary companies were now going under the control of government of India. There are four separate entities, including GIC, which was its super boss. Now GIC also became an insurance company under the control of government of India. Moving further. Now, if you go back to the glorious history of insurance in India, it dates back to the year 1818 when it saw the advent of life insurance business in India with the establishment of Oriental Life Insurance Company in Calcutta at that point. This company, however, failed in the year 1834. In 1829, the Madras Equitable Insurance has started transacting the life insurance of Madras Presidency. In 1870, we saw the enactment of this British Act altogether. And by the 19th century, say we had the Bombay Mutual, the Oriental Insurance, the Empire of India Insurance, all these factors had started coming in. But when you go through the insurance history, you will be able to understand that the first thing that we started was life insurance and not directly general insurance. Why? Because the Britishers had made us understand that life insurance was more important, and at that time India was not really up to the trade and business services because everything was impacted by the British rule. So we did not have our individual presence in terms of trade and export. So we did not know much about the insurance covering the general insurance aspect. So there were very, very few companies which were actually trying to tell people about the life insurance. Until the LIC came into picture and people started getting a awareness all about life insurance, we did not move into this sector. So I would like to say that insurance sector still remains as a sunshine sector in India. It's a coming up. Why? Because it is not as full-fledged like that of a automotive segment or a banking segment or like a chemicals or a textile or any other segment. It is now picking up the steam. It's now picking up the pace altogether, and probably in another 5 or 10 years, you will see more revolution, more upgradation, more usage of technology that is coming in. Of late, most of you might have been seeing the advertisements of an insurance company called as ACO, which is coming onto your TV screens and mobile screens. Now, ACO is the recent insurance company that has come through a pure mobile app altogether. So probably you don't have to go to any of the office, stand in queue or sign any form. Things get done over a digital process itself. So now you would be able to see that the history of insurance today has led to the level where people have gone on a complete digital mode altogether. So when you see all these insurances, actually they were all the root cause for making us understand the need for backup, the need for a system altogether. So these are all the companies which were dominated by the foreign companies, especially by the British, and we later moved on to having our own segment. So in the year 1914, the government of India started publishing the returns of insurance companies in India. The Indian Life Insurance Companies Act of 1912 was the first statutory measure to regulate the life business. 1928 Indian Insurance Companies Act was enacted to enable the government to collect statistical information of both life and non-life business altogether. In 1938, with the view of protecting the interest of insurance company, the earlier legislation was consolidated. It was amended with comprehensive provision for a better life and for a better protection in terms of the insurance companies or the activities. Now, if you start looking here, from 1914, the role of government has been quite significant. Why? Because they started coming up with statistical evidence trying to make people understand the importance, the value of life. Why? Because one side, we are all philosophical people who just believe that life is not under the control of us. So we live and we die is a quite natural phenomenon. So why should we insure our life? What is the point in insurance? I'm just going to keep on paying my premium and I'm not going to enjoy the benefits of insurance. So why should I even insure my life? But then the reason for insurance is not for you, but for the dependents of you. So what the government of India wanted is that they wanted the public to get educated about what is insurance. What are all the factors that we have seen in insurance? So they started publishing all the data about life insurance and general insurance, which could be of a great use to the people. So by the year 1938, there were several amendments that were brought to this general insurance business in terms of making the people understand what are all is needed and how the insurance company exist and continue their business. So this is something, a very, very fantastic journey that has come across in terms of the insurance sector, trying to make the people understand the need and importance altogether. With the current scenario, the pandemic coming in, and in the last 1.5 years, there has been a huge setback to the economy, to the mindset of people, to the business, to the life actually. Now, insurance has taken a center stage altogether. Today, moment a child is born, the first thing after naming the child, we start getting into an insurance process. Why? Because the public today have got completely enlightened about it, and there has been several user-free education techniques that have been enlightening the people about the need for insurance. So that's how the insurance sector has now started coming up as one of the primary sectors in India. Now, the Insurance Amendment Act of the 1950 abolished the principal agency, so we removed the agency factor. However, there were large number of insurance companies and the level of competition was definitely very high. So there were also allegations about the unfair practices. So the government wanted to nationalize it altogether. An ordinance, the law was passed on 19th January 1956. That is after we are getting into the independence, after we became a republic altogether. The life insurance sector and the life insurance corporation came into picture. None other, the LIC is the largest insurer in India, absorbed 154 Indian and 16 non-Indian insurers, also 75 provident societies, 245 Indian and the foreign insurers altogether. The LIC had a monopoly in terms of the insurance business until the late 90s. But after 2000, 2001, when India started opening up its insurance sector on an FDI basis, now LIC has lost its monopoly in this particular sector. Today, there are several players who have come in terms of the life insurance as well as on general insurance. So till 1990, the monopoly status that was enjoyed by LIC has been completely broken. But nevertheless, we should not forget this factor that LIC has been the hope of the Indian government as well as the people for many long years in terms of providing a backup during any emergencies and exigencies. And LIC has also proven to be one good organization where people can safeguard their money for a long-term purpose altogether. With this, I come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe all the information that has been discussed in this session would have been of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we will be talking about the fundamental principles of insurance. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.